Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and as you know, this year for the channel I bought this 2023 Chevy Silverado with a 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, and it's got the new LZ0 diesel. A hot topic on the channel lately in the comments and emails I've been getting is about this idea about too much oil consumption. These diesels are using a lot of oil, and people are really concerned about this. And so I did some deep digging, reached out to GM, I did a bunch of Googling, I did a bunch of stuff going on to get you some answers on what's going on. So I thought first, let's check the oil. I haven't done this actually. I have over 2,400 miles on it, 2,500 miles on it. So I'm going to check it. Now I did let this diesel run a little bit, make sure that oil gets circulated a little bit, and then I'll wipe this off, and then we'll stick it back in, and we'll do it the way I was told to do it. Let the engine run a little bit, then turn it off, and then put your dipstick in, and let's pull it out again. Wow. All right. So this shows that I am just below the halfway point. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. Just below the halfway point on the diesel fuel, engine oil. The Dexis D, which is a light-duty diesel oil made by Exxon, that they put in this truck. So I'm not really using that much oil I don't think that's that big of an issue, but people have had some pretty significant oil losses, and so I reached out to GM to see what's going on, and GM confirmed to me that this engine, or this, when they ship this truck out of the factory, I should say, with this engine in it, they actually overfill it by a quart, and they do that as per standard operating procedures, that they're going to overfill this by a quart. Now that's your first fill of this diesel oil. When you do an oil change, you don't get the extra quart. It's just for the initial factory, which to me is more about extra oil to make sure you have everything lubed up, ready to go. And as things set in, as you know, everything gets into place better and engine proper working, you will not need as much oil, is what the understanding I have from them. What's interesting about that though is that there was this service bulletin. This is a technical service bulletin. This is given to dealerships and dealership techs to explain common issues that come up and answer those questions from engineering. So basically, engineering hears these complaints. They put together a one-pager, send it to dealers, so dealers are aware of what's going on. Now, dealers are also aware of the extra quart that goes in at factory. I was confirmed by that from Chevrolet as well, that they're letting dealers know that this engine comes with extra oil from the factory. But back to this service bulletin. This is really interesting. So oil consumption, there's a bulletin number, it's PIP 5751. I also confirmed that this information applies to LZ0 and the LM2, the prior generation diesel. Both information applies. It says oil consumption. The accepted rate of oil consumption for engines. Let me read that one more time because I was like, holy cow. I was always taught that, you know, if where's oil go? If it's not underneath the truck, if it's not in the truck, where's that? And this is saying the accepted rate of oil consumption for engines used in the vehicles referenced is 1 quart for every 2,000 miles. So this is going to use oil. This diesel is going to use oil. It says important. This 1 quart for every 2,000 miles, or 3,200 kilometers for our Canadian friends, this rate only applies to personal use vehicles under warranty that are driven in a non-aggressive manner and maintained in accordance with the appropriate maintenance schedule or driven at legal speeds in an unloaded for trucks condition. So if you just drive this normally like you would a sedan or SUV or car or whatever, you don't tow and you don't like go crazy, you should have 1 quart of usage for every 2,000 miles. This rate does not apply to vehicles that are driven in an aggressive manner, and I'm looking at you guys, at high RPM, high speeds, or a loaded condition for trucks. Oil consumption for vehicles driven under these conditions will be more than the accepted rate of 1 quart. It'll be more, and the accepted rate is 1 quart for every 1,600 kilometers or 1,000 miles. So GM is saying that this engine will use oil. It's going to. And it's going to use it for 1 quart for every 2,000 miles or 3,200 kilometers. But if you tow a lot, you're going to use more oil. You're going to use 1 quart for every 1,000 miles, or basically half of what I told you earlier, or 1,600 kilometers. So that's interesting. I don't know that I've ever in my life heard of an oil or engine that is going to use oil. It's part of the part of the vehicle. Now, I'm sure this mechanic's going to take me up to the woodshed and call me an idiot, all kinds of stuff, but I have never personally myself in my life heard that. So this is interesting to me. So then another funny thing happened while I was researching this story. A company called PPE reached out, which is, I think, they're an aftermarket company. I think they're in Utah, last time I checked. And they sent me an email asking me if I wanted any products to test out for this diesel because they saw the videos I've been doing. And they're going to send me an oil pan that they have developed. This oil pan actually holds 2 more quarts of oil than the factory one does, or the General Motors production one does. And the idea here is you get those extra 2 quarts of oil in the oil pan, you had more quarts in the engine, and you're at more of a stable condition, stable usage of having 2 more quarts, so you're not going to lose that quarts going through, right? So you're basically, with the oil pan, you're going to end up overfilling this a little bit more and not have this concerns about oil consumption before you get an oil change. I'd be curious about that one. I'm probably going to install it when I do an oil change. Probably somebody else install it too, to be frank with you. But I thought it was interesting. So I don't know. It's an interesting topic because it hasn't really come up before in any of the videos I've done. And again, I'm not really using much oil, but I could see if somebody bought this and they've got their towing. And, you know, the issue with this has been, when you tow, you use a lot of DEF, and they also use a lot of oil, which is kind of maddening a little bit to think about. You don't just need diesel fuel. You got to have the other 2 pieces as well. What do you guys think? Put your comments down below. I'll check out this video over here I did. It's going to be a really cool video. Website down below as well, pickuptrucktalk.com. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.